Hello and welcome everybody back to another episode of Here's Vapsalom, where we here at Three Kobolds Gaming play Pathfinder 2nd Edition for fun, sometimes.
Woo!
Once in a while.
Thank you so much.
That while being a week.
Yeah, pretty, mostly regularly. Thank you everybody for joining us once again as we continue our adventure. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody feeling after last week?
Excited.
Ready?
Glad to be
for
alive.
This week?
Glad to be
There's a lot of
alive.
that. There's a lot of that going around
Yeah.
these days. Well, they don't need a plug because they are one of the biggest names in the business. But Emily Grace and I, we just watched. Well, why don't you talk about it, Emily Grace? You're
I
very
am
up to date.
wearing one of their sweatshirts. Critical Role released their TV show Legend of Vox Machina, which tells the story of their original first campaign characters right before their campaign started, leading into the first major arc of the story. And
Oh, cool.
it is amazing. I was a backer for the Kickstarter, so I got early access to the first 2 episodes.
Oh, that's
and
exciting.
watched it
Oh, that's always fun.
twice over before it premiered, and then Will and I watched the first 3 episodes together. And
Yeah,
it's just wonderful. Highly recommend. It's on Amazon Prime.
it is really, really good. But the reason that I bring it up is that we try, very hard to paint a picture, right? To tell a story, and to see a hobby, a shared hobby that we all love, and creating these stories with each other, to see that becoming more and more mainstream, and now to, not counting the D&D movie or the D&D video games, see that in a mainstream TV show that is so heavily inspired by the storytelling based around this set of rules that was published. It's so cool to think about just how far everything has come, and how exciting both Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder will continue to be, and definitely inspires me to try to become a better storyteller. And that's by no means only the role of the DM. It's a collaborative storytelling effort. And that's one of the things that I say to every group that I play with. The first time I sit down with them for our session zeros, I tell them this is our story. We get to make it what we want. I will put stuff in front of you all day, every day. But you guys decide what you want to do. And that's what I want to remind you of, specifically, my players, going into today, is be creative, tell a story, do what you think your characters would do. Because it's one of those things where there are no right answers, right? Except there kind of are, but there aren't. That doesn't make any sense, right? Like, there are things that will demonstrably get results, right? But half of the fun is trying and failing. So just let's see what you guys can do. Because today is not going to be about me. It's not going to be about me. It's going to be a lot of you guys. So let's see what you can do.
Scared now.
Guess that's a good.
Yeah, I know. There's been so much cryptic GM speak right now, and then before we started, I have no idea what's coming.
I strive every week to just put my players entirely off kilter 30 seconds before we go live.
Yeah, just make us like nervous and sweat bullets.
Yeah,
Yep.
just like
Yep.
give us all like a little bit of a start of a panic attack. See if it goes full blown within the first 10 minutes.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I count, how many panic attacks I can realize by the time I turn the cameras on every week. So
There's good as hero points for you.
Got to take my wins where I can get them, since you guys have beaten every single encounter I've thrown at you during this campaign.
Except for the one where Forsyth died. I mean, he didn't beat it.
You still won. The party still won.
Yeah.
That's true.
But a little recap.
Rip.
Last week started off on a really tense note. As a reminder, we had 2 players who were petrified by a basilisk.
Was that only last week?
That was only last week. Oski and Kashak petrified where they stood, or in Kashak's case, fell off a wall.
Yep.
Twinkletoes downed by a critical hit, bleeding out on the ground in between a Copperhand rogue and the basilisk. And Bastro just watching from a doorway 20 feet away as everything, like that one Community gif where he just walks into the door with the pizza and everything's on fire. That was Bastro. But Bastro pulled it together. He healed up Twinkletoes. Twinkletoes got on her feet, took down the basilisk, who only had 15 HP. You guys were fine. And you all were able to finish the last rogue, hit some clutch knowledge checks, some medicine skill checks.
She took me down again during that time.
It was back and forth, but you won. You got there. You did the thing.
Yeah.
Bastro did the medicine check to figure out how to reverse the petrification, which was cutting open the basilisk and dousing Kashak and Oski in its blood. And he also hit a clutch roll, because that basilisk isn't guaranteed to have enough blood for 2 people.
Oh my god.
That was nerve-wracking.
Basilisk,
Yeah.
a basilisk petrification can only be healed by the blood of a basilisk that has died within the hour. And each basilisk, fully mature, only has enough blood for 1d3 medium creatures.
Wow.
So
and you have to roll a d6, and I had to roll a 3 or higher, and I rolled a 3.
A 3. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So you're able to get out of that scot-free, no problems. Spent a little bit of time healing up, and then you continued on into the upper levels of the hideout, on your way meeting a group of rather strange people who you all still have not dealt with, who were just
They're still downstairs.
just hanging out, playing cards in a room that was
Oh my god.
that smelled of, like,
Weed.
damp fur and dank fur. Yeah, sure. Just like smelled weird. They were using a card table that was literally just like a crate with a broken piece of wood on top, and like all of the furniture in the room was just smashed. No idea what's going on there, but yeah, you guys didn't really care if they weren't attacking you.
We did talk to them as we were like chasing.
Yes, and
yeah, I thought they left when we went upstairs.
Oh no, their whole thing was, you guys can go on up. We'll talk to whoever comes back down, whether that's you or the Copperhand. Just so happened that the Copperhand went first, but they were invisible, because when you guys got up there, you engaged in battle. It was tough. It was really tough. Fayati was laying out the damage pretty significantly, taking Twinkletoes down, flanked by spellcasters who were tossing all kinds of illusions at you. It was a tough fight, but as you were taking out her minions, she gives a signal. And the sister sacrificed her life. The sister spellcaster sacrificed her life for the brother. And the brother cast invisibility. She cast invisibility on her brother. The brother cast invisibility on Fayati. And they slipped out of a secret doorway back down the stairs. You all gave chase, but unfortunately, due to the invisibility and the head start that they had on you, you were unable to locate Fayati and the escaping Copperhand wizard. So we come back to you now on the map. I should actually probably send you guys to the right map, or the correct map. Copperhand Hideout. We send you guys back to the map. Ooh. Just kidding. I don't have that open. we'll get the map up here. It's not very important. You guys looted the bodies on the top floor.
Yeah.
And you found a couple of things. You found the gear, obviously, of the people that were either knocked out or slain. But you also found a variety of like documents and 2 leather-bound journals. One of which appeared to be a logbook of financial records, just from a quick glance, and the other which appeared to be a personal journal. I should mention that both of these books are, while not like large, particularly large in size, they are like the 5th Harry Potter in size. They're thick. They're thick. They're not like, those massive ancient tomes, but they are large books with detailed and neat handwriting, so it will take some time to go through them. Let me just finish bringing up this map. Is there anything else you guys would like to do while you are up here on this floor?
I would like to go through the crates in the south room.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make sure we do a good sweep of all of the crates. I agree. Because I think we maybe looked in 1 or 2, but I don't know if we really spent time searching them.
Okay, so just make sure that's right. There we go. Now we're back to it. So you want to check out the crates in this area here.
Correct.
Yep.
Just get rid of all of these spell effects that are no longer there.
I think more generally, let's just tear this place apart.
Yeah.
Let's look. Flip tables, rip open containers, just whatever.
Sure.
Let's break everything we can.
I agree.
How much time do you guys want to spend doing this?
I think as long as it takes where we feel like we've searched the whole place.
Yeah. I feel no stress about time right now. I feel absolutely none.
What if reinforcements come or something?
Yeah.
We kill them too.
Dude. No, they were actively running away.
Yeah, you are fairly certain that the only 2 Copper Hand members left conscious are the 2 that turned invisible and got out. You have stopped a number of them before you even got to the bank heist. You killed or incapacitated everybody that was part of the bank heist, and then you worked your way entirely through this. And you know that they're a pretty small thieves guild. So you have a solid feeling that if Fayadi dipped, you're not under any immediate threat.
That's interesting. In my back of my mind, I was still considering this to be one arm of the Copper Hand. But if we don't need to get into why. But if we feel like we have eradicated 98% of the Copper Hand, that's great.
I didn't want to bring this up in case anybody remembered it. But the first time you actually saw Fayati, without knowing her name, was at Princess Puddle's Royal Rumble.
I thought we had interacted with her. Yeah.
She was the one who took the...
She was the one who stole the prize pool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This campaign has a habit of introducing us to villains before they become the villain.
Foreshadowing.
It's the second time.
Powerful tool.
Okay. But yes, we spend X time decided by you.
The next colorful NPC we meet, we just kill on the spot.
Just roll initiative. Just go
seems
ahead.
like a fair bet at this point.
We become the most paranoid. We become the most paranoid adventuring party that's ever existed. We're just always weapons trained in the streets. Yeah.
Sir, do you have the time? Excuse me, what?
How dare you speak to me like that? I would like one person to roll a perception, but everyone else can attempt to aid if they would like to.
Best perception.
Probably me. We could also go over level up for why.
Oh, true. We could do that. Yeah.
I was gonna wait until you guys got out of here, but if we want to do that now, we can.
Well, the reason that my perception is so good is because of my level up.
All right, Kashak, we're starting with you. They did get level 7 after surviving the encounter.
Well, so a few kind of things off the top that are pretty general. Rangers at 7th level, which is Kashak's class, receive weapon specialization, which is a thing that a lot of martial classes and warrior, fighting classes get. It's basically just flat +2 damage right now. You just get more damage across the board, which is sick. He also received a class feature called Evasion, which makes him master proficiency in reflex saves. And if I'm ever rolling a reflex save to receive half damage on something and I succeed, I take 0 damage from it. So all you fireballs, all you dragon's breath weapons, if I roll success,
That's
you
awesome.
It is hammer time. You can't touch this. The reason that my perception is so good is that I also got what is called Vigilant Senses, so I have master proficiency in perception.
Oh my god, level 7
Level
is huge.
7?
Yeah.
That's insane.
No.
Perception has always been Ranger's whole thing. It is he has these perfect eyes, so I have a +16 in my perception right now, which is pretty thick. Pretty sick. Yeah, it's pretty bananas. We're gonna do the whole. You want to do the whole thing? Might as well. I also took the skill increase that you get at 7th level. I took that in my lore skill, which is warfare lore. Kashak is a former captain of his little band of lizard folk at Rookstein, and he's trying to translate that to Absalom here. The reason I did that, which may seem to any of you 2nd edition players weird to take a lore skill, it allowed me to take a general feat called Battle Planner, which I won't go into the full details of, but if we have time to study a location and the people that are patrolling it, it could potentially be really huge for us. We are much more prepared if we have the time to prepare than we were before.
Very cool.
I think guys would have been.
A slam dunk.
Twinkle Toes, how about you go?
Okay. All right. So, Kasha, I almost called you Kashak because I've been listening to Vox Machina, and that's the name of the character in that. Wait, other way around. Now, what's your character's name again? Shoot.
Nobody tell her. Nobody tell her.
Penumbra.
Hey, T. It's
Kashak.
KT.
Yeah.
Shark.
Big Bones Jones, actually. Yeah, that's my
Oh,
character.
that's a good
Big
point.
Bones Jones.
Kashak is my character's name.
I got it switched up. It's really confusing. Anyway.
What's the Vox Machina character? Not to confuse you, right? Kasha.
Yeah.
Promise, don't come after me for copyright, please. I thought of this name
There's an
originally.
extra K. It's another, what,
Hold on a minute.
15% letter?
It's the plural.
Anyhow, like Kashak, I also got weapon specialization and evasion.
So nice.
Huge
So-
for damage dealers.
Yee. Master in reflex saves because of evasion. So that's pretty awesome. For my skill increase, I got a nice little deception boost.
What does,
Ooh.
what does evasion do?
Oh, evasion. You've learned to move quickly to avoid explosions, a dragon's breath, and worse. Your proficiency rank for reflex saves increases to master. When you roll a success on a reflex save, you get a critical success instead.
Very good.
Indeed. I took the Untrained Improvisation general feat,
So cool.
which is awesome. Basically, anything that I'm not trained in, instead of adding a +0 for my proficiency, I add my level.
Yeah, that's.
Before
so good.
7th level, it's half your level, but once you're 7th level, it's your entire level. So
Yeah, taking untrained improvisation at 7th level is huge. That is awesome.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
It's really good. Still can't do the trained actions, but
Right.
anything
Correct.
else.
Yes.
Yeah.
On top of that, as a swashbuckler at 7th level, I get a stylish trick. The stylish trick is a skill feat, but it has to be in the acrobatics category for my specific style of swashbuckler. So I took catfall. So I treat falls as 10 feet shorter / 25 feet shorter because I'm an expert in acrobatics. So Yeah.
What is it
Take
that
less
you always,
damage if I fall.
What is it that you always say, Ben? It's like drowning and falling damage are the two things.
Crits, drowning, and falling damage. Those are character killers.
Those are the things that kill characters. Yeah. So hopefully that'll negate at least one of those.
Hopefully.
We have yet to see how any of you swim besides Oski.
On top of that, my vivacious speed, so the speed that I have when I have panache, is 15 feet instead of 10 feet. So before, when I had panache, my speed was 40 feet. Now it's 45 feet.
So insane. That's so insane.
That's obscene. It's just obscene.
Indeed. I think that's everything.
All right. Very cool. Twinkle Toes really starting to shine out here. Oski.
A little speed demon over here. For my general feat at 7th level, I took fleet to get that 5-foot boost, so now I have 25 feet of movement.
Back up to normal.
Yeah, it is. Oski's he's running morning laps trying to keep up with Twinkle Toes even a little bit. I also got weapon specialization. Let's go martial characters. The biggest thing for champions at level 7 is armor expertise and then armor specialization because of that. So I am no longer a fake tank. I am now a real tank. Which is
he's a missile launcher on the front of him. He is a panzer.
It is. I'm a panzer. So I have expert armor for all armor, and then because I have heavy armor, I get access to armor specialization, which, like weapon specialization, gives you +2 damage. Armor specialization gives my type of armor, which is plate armor, 2 resistance to slashing damage, which is pretty cool if that comes up.
And if you get a resilience rune, that'll go up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty cool. And then my skill increase, I am now a master in intimidation.
You don't say. That's good for your dread martial stance, yeah?
Exactly why I did it. Yeah.
Huge for that dread martial stance.
Because I want to hit that critical success.
I will still continue to ask what the DC is for my will save.
I'm so happy we have one of those in our campaign, or we're seeing it live in action. I've thought about that. I've said this before, but that is such a cool archetype I wanted to explore for a long time. I'm glad we're getting to see it firsthand. Super fun.
I wish the darn champion class feats weren't so important to the build I'm going for, because I haven't dipped after. I took it at 2nd level, and then 4th level I took the archetype feat. I haven't gone back to the archetype since 4th level.
Yeah.
Because it's got some cool things, but I need so many good class feats. Too many options.
And you took the sorcerer dedication for your free archetype, right?
It's free archetype with sorcerer dedication, yeah. Which, speaking of, because Will has been a taskmaster and hasn't let us rest, I still haven't even debuted the spells that I have now.
I never said those are rest. I said there would be consequences if you did. Those are 2 different things.
So, I still have spells that will one day make their debut. That's my level.
Very cool. And last but not least, Mr. Bastro Baltorin.
I picked fleet also for my general feat.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Feat for your general fleet.
I just didn't want to be as slow as Oski, so I had to be a little bit faster. But I am now an expert spellcaster, so that's like the biggest thing about level 7. Like, my spell DC is incredibly high. People are going to be falling for my debuffs now. It's going to be great. And then, let's see, for my 7th level, that was a class feat. What else? I'm a master in society now, so that's awesome.
Well, we do live in a society.
Yep.
Young sir.
Yep. And Bastard knows everything about everybody. And I have some 4th level spells that I can't wait to debut.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
Did you get any more languages this level?
No, not this level, actually.
Dang.
Nope.
I'm just waiting for the point in the game where I can just not care about whatever languages my creatures speak and just say it in English, because Bastro will understand. But it is not this day. I still have to check. Very good. So, back to where we are in the story. After this surge of adrenaline post-fight, you run down, realize they're gone. You come back up, you search through a cursory search of this area, but now you guys are really going in depth, tearing things apart. Just for this entire floor, go ahead and have one person, I'm assuming Kashak, go ahead and roll that perception. Anyone else who would like to attempt to aid may do so. Kashak, hold on to that. Remember, it is a DC 20 to aid.
Oski aids.
Oski aids, that's +1. Bastard?
And more than one person aid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure does not aid.
Nor does Twinkle Toes.
Doesn't even matter. So, Kashak, add that +1. What's your total?
With a natural 19.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Is a 35. 36. What is it? It's this. Yeah, 36. 36.
Yo. We found everything.
You did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
You found about 27 gold worth of loose change. And that's it.
Yeah.
Wow, they took everything. Yeah.
They took everything.
They took everything.
Yeah, so the way this worked out is while you guys were being very careful and you downed pretty much everything on your way, with the preparation you took outside and the heads up that they did get, as well as the resting that you did after the basilisk, they were able to pack up pretty much everything and take it with them when they left.
Just the two of them?
Well, they had a bunch of people. They had 6 people on this floor.
Yeah, we fought 4 of them.
Yeah. And it seemed like they had a plan, right?
There was an escape strategy. Really quick, 6.75 is the divided by 4 on the 27. So 6 gold, 7 silver, 5 copper.
You find a couple of other, like, loose sheets of paper. Some of them seem to go in with the stack, so that'll help with trying to figure that out. There's not too much else. You find a like a locket on the shelf over here. There's a couple of things. It's this table. There's like a little locket, one of those bifold lockets. You find a funnily enough, the Eyes on Absalom newspaper. Sitting right on top is that picture, and I'll show it to you again if I can find it. But it was that copy of the newspaper that was basically depicting everything you all did with Hendred Pratchett and the Dreaming Palace as the Edgewatch victory.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can
Taking our glory.
find that here. Yeah, here we go. So you find that issue, as well as a couple of back issues of the Eyes of Absalom. It just seems like light reading material. That was up here.
That picture on the bottom left of the Edgewatch guard,
I know, right?
just bonking that gator on the head to let that guy's leg go. That is the funniest picture I've ever seen.
And if you'll remember, like, you fought a snake there. Like, that's not even where the gator was.
It's like
because they didn't actually do anything, just everything doesn't add up in the episode, or in the
held hostage by
the
kobold.
stoic face just bonk.
Yeah.
He's a hero of Absalom.
He really is. He doesn't have time for emotion. He's only here to bonk.
That's insulting.
That's what the Eyes on Absalom say.
Right.
Claiming the newly formed Edgewatch Guard as breakout stars in the crime prevention scene.
They're not secretaries.
They're not. But then again, nobody should know about the secret tiers. So
you know what? If that creepo Reginald Van Kaskerkin really wants to write stuff like that, that's fine. He can write smut if he wants.
Van Kaskerkin.
Van Kaskerkin.
Ah.
I like Van Kaskerkin better though.
If that,
I mean, you've got to go with the Slavic pronunciation on
that like piece of garbage, Reginald Van Kaskerkin, he wants to write that. That's fine.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like anything of importance or value outside of that locket and the gold, yeah, gone.
So did we open the locket? Sorry, I think I might have missed that. What was in the locket?
You're more than welcome to. If you open it, you see it essentially looks like one of those tiny hand-drawn portraits, and it looks to be of a young girl, maybe 15. If you had to guess, it was probably Feati at a younger age.
Not Twinkletoes?
Not Twinkletoes. This one is not of Twinkletoes.
There's like a 50-50 shot that any picture in here is of Twinkletoes, so I had to ask.
Yeah, it's actually more than 50-50. Much greater odds than that, but yeah. Unless you're counting every individual panel on the Eyes of Absalom, then it's a much greater chance than that it's
okay, so it's probably a locket of Feati. I guess we'll keep that just for like a have you seen this person kind of reference, but like much older. I don't know.
Well,
if you imagine this person, but like older, have you
when
seen
you get some of that software they use for kids on milk cartons, where they make them like 10 years older.
That's exactly what the pictures look like downstairs, except it's actually what Twinkletoes looked like.
Yeah, I'm gonna take down those posters.
Are you guys heading downstairs?
Before we do, I agree we should do that. But the log entries, all of the documentation that's here, that seems worth taking. We should take that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Should we go through them now, or should we just take it and go?
We have a lot to go through. I think we should take everything back to our apartment and then just go through it there.
So even at a brief glance, there are hundreds of pages in each book, and then dozens more of these loose leaf sheets of paper.
Good God.
You think that one might say you might need to do a little bit of research into these topics.
Yeah. We have like other stuff we should have researched a while ago and didn't do also, I think, right?
You can always attempt to research, but nothing that has been explicitly necessary.
Oh no, I was looking through our loot sheet because we have a lot of stuff here. There's a couple spell books that I'm not confident that Bastro has looked through. That
not yet.
No. But yeah, that is the extent of the things outside of like a variety of garden plants. You know, up here if you want to steal and pawn some garden plants.
Do any of them look like they're from Varesia?
Give me a nature.
Okay. Having never been. Nature check. Natural 16 for a 28.
28. So you recognize a couple of native plants. It's mostly native plants, shrubs and bushes and flowers that you've seen throughout Absalom and in the surrounding Isle of Kortos. However, you also notice that there are some wilting due to the climate, but some Garundi plants.
Oh!
So there is one specific flower, a rose derivative that only grows in the Mwangi Expanse that is here. Not particularly worth anything because it doesn't have really any like magical properties, and that's kind of what plants come down to in a magical society is like, what can they do?
Does this make me superhero strength or not?
They're not like, I'm sure somebody would value the aesthetics, but nowhere near as much as like a magical plant. So that's interesting. There are also a couple of plants you don't recognize. So if you'd like to just harvest a couple of plants and take a chance on whether or not they're Varesian.
Totally. Anything he doesn't recognize, plus the Garundi rose, he'll take.
Sure. Go ahead and mark down 4 potted plants, unknown, and then 1 pot Garundi.
Nothing will make me happier.
I'm glad to hear it, bud.
I would like to start fingering through the personal journal.
We'll get to that. That is a much larger conversation.
At the juice?
That is a much larger conversation. I think you guys might want to have back home.
Everyone, I think it's time we address the elephant in the room downstairs. Rather, the 4 elephants that are playing cards downstairs in the room below.
Wouldn't be rude, Kashak.
Sorry.
Yeah, they really weren't that big.
Perhaps we address the people with completely acceptable body images. Trying to be as PC as possible.
What do we need to address? I think we just tell them we were the victorious ones and that they are free to go.
They work for us now.
They might perhaps, exactly, Bastro, they might perhaps be powerful allies or have information for us later. Certainly wouldn't hurt to have some non-enemies in a place where our enemies once hid. I'm no king of diplomacy, but little bebop on down there.
After a brief bebop and scat, you guys find yourselves back downstairs next to the quartets of card-playing characters. I
start taking down the posters.
Fair enough.
Probably a good idea.
There are 8 in total. It looks like roughly 1 per year. And you recognize specific articles of clothing and work uniforms that you've had over the years. This is clearly not just somebody passing you by on the street every once in a while as a random muse. This is intentional. And
what does she do with them? Is she ripping them down and destroying them, or is she keeping them for something?
I'm taking them.
You're keeping them? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the portraits of both your mother and father.
I take those as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Again, with your father X'd and your mother circled in red paint. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
The quartet turns to you once more. This kind of more muscular woman here at the corner turns to you again. You all made it.
I suppose you know what that means for our Copperhand comrades. We seem to be no more.
Well, seems like we got the place to ourselves now.
What will you do with it now that you're not exactly on the payroll?
Well, place is already paid off. If they're not going to collect, I don't know. Might start a business. Might just keep doing mercenary work.
You could at least start playing cards on a real table, and Oski sort of with a sly smile pats the table he's sitting on.
The tiefling down here to the south just kind of tilts her head looking past Kashak as if realizing for the first time that there is a real table, right outside of their door. And you just see this single tear just streak down her cheek.
That is amazing.
I'll just give you a fair warning about the room directly beneath us. Crazy oozes.
Oh, right.
In there, so just
oozes.
Yeah. Don't open the door. Don't open the doors that are still closed.
They were there when we got here.
We can mark the door for you if you'd like.
Okay.
There's 3 doors into that room, actually. Just
many doors. Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions on what to do with them?
Shiny metals.
Keep them away from vaults.
They like shiny metals and stealing things.
So,
Yeah.
occasionally sacrifice shiny metals into the door.
You could certainly appease them by doing so, but we still recommend just not opening the door in the first place.
I
We
would
will-
recommend just like letting them starve in there and hope they wither away.
I just can't imagine this is the best place to live for any of you. I'm sure there are definitely nicer apartments.
But are there nicer free apartments?
He turns back to Kashak turns to Oski again. I heard it again. I can't believe she's copying my voice. I just can't understand why she would do this. I don't understand it.
They essentially just goes back and forth. They say that they're going to set up camp. They don't know what they're going to do. They were hired muscle. They were literally hired, like not even hired. They were indentured muscle to the Copper Hand.
Kushak will say eventually, do you think that we could perhaps call upon you again if we're back in the area and in need of some assistance?
Yeah, you're always welcome here with us. Sure. I mean, as long as it's within our capabilities, we'll help you. But
Do your
surely
group have a name that we should refer to you by?
a name. The Vudrani Vagrants.
No, that's good.
Johnny.
I gotta say, that's a pretty good name.
I don't usually get goosebumps because I have scales and I can't get them, but I have them right now.
Bastra
He has
will.
lizard bumps, but that's a separate condition.
My uncle died of lizard bumps. Don't bring that up.
Bastra will speak out in Vudrani, and he will say, "I hope we can establish a good relationship between the two groups."
She looks at you, her eyes wide. She says, I didn't think anyone here spoke Vudrani. And you see her, she finally, for the first time, gets up out of her chair, which again is like a dented milk pail on the ground. And you see her almost like double over for a brief instant, and you hear this like ripping sound as her body begins to like bubble, and you see fur start to sprout all over her face, starting with her face, out across over her shoulders and her arms. And she doubles in size as a were-tiger steps out to shake Bastra's hand.
Oh my god.
And in Vudrani,
Toes' jaw is on the floor.
in Vudrani, she says, "Anything you need, my brother, we will be there for you."
Bastra is so shocked, speechless, but shakes the Vudrani's hand. Oh my god.
What?
Thank you.
Astro is just
Thank
like
you.
the king of connections. He's just like incredible.
I was wondering if it would come up.
I'm so genuinely speechless right now. I have nothing to say.
right?
I have nothing to say.
That was awesome.
What?
You never once asked where they were from? The only
Why would we?
We were on the clock. Yeah, we were on the clock.
we were on
I guess
the
I don't
move,
know.
yeah.
I'm not saying you did anything wrong.
Oh, we didn't.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying it didn't
Yeah, we
come
didn't
up.
ask.
Kashak leans in the door. Are any of you gonna change as well, or is that like the form you guys have normally? Anybody else?
The were-tiger just points to this one in the corner, who's like just absent-mindedly shuffling. But the other two kind of just shake their head. The tieflings just shake their head.
And a tiger as well, or is it like a? You know what? That's probably an insensitive question. We can probably just see it for ourselves. Eventually.
I'm sure we'll meet again, but we have to get going. It's been quite a long day, and Bastra's like heaving over in exhaustion.
We
I have
learned.
to admit though, this has been like the best part of it. Like this moment right here has been.
We learned the were-tiger's name, right? What was the were-tiger's name?
You did not. None of you have asked.
No, we did. I was sure we did.
Oh, you learned this one's name. Yes, it's Krishmi.
Yeah, the were-tiger.
Krishmi.
Okay.
Krishmi. Krishmi. But if you go around the circle, the two tieflings are Loppy, Lopy, and Grother, Grother. And the other were-tiger has a name that isn't on her token for some reason. Akka. Oh, excuse me, I got those mixed up. You learned Akka's name.
I thought it was Akka or like Eka or something like that.
And the other were-tiger is Krishmi. So Akka and Krishmi, the were-tigers.
How do you spell Akka?
Akha.
Okay.
And then Loppy and Grother, the tieflings. And they are... I mean, they'll tell you, like, if you guys stick around, they'd be happy to share, like, stories. The tieflings are both adept magical users. And obviously the were-tigers can mess some shit up if they need to. So, like, by no means, if you need them for something, they'll help you. It just kind of depends on what you need. They are, shall we say, blunt instruments.
I'm wondering if we have, like, stuff we can give them as, like, a thank you. Look at our loot sheet here. Yeah, we'll deal with it later. We'll come back around. Freaking cool. Like,
that is pretty cool.
That is so awesome.
So cool.
But Akka, again, as you're having this conversation, going around introducing them, everybody, Akka will turn back to Basro and Kashak, and in common, I think at this point we're going to take up residence here. We'll figure out something to do with the oozes downstairs. But if we don't have to pay for the roofs over our head, then we have a chance to make something for ourselves here. I've always dreamed of starting a mercenary company. Maybe this is a place to do it.
I can't think of a better location to do it out of than a free house where a mercenary guild used to live.
Thieves Guild.
Agreed.
Just to be clear, we're not going to be stealing things. We'll be working under lawful contracts, but...
Good that you're not stealing stuff, or else we'd have to kill you.
Roll the credits, laugh track.
She just looks at the bulging, like, handy haversack at your side. You sure you didn't steal anything from anybody? You sure?
Never.
You sure?
I've never stolen ever. Never.
But yeah, the sentiment basically is that they're going to chill out here. They're going to try to start up a mercenary group, and if you ever need their services, let them know.
Hey.
Love it.
Friggin' dope. Friggin' dope. Let's get out of here. Let's leave.
Eventually,
let's leave.
Yeah, let's dip.
Let's leave forever.
Is there anything else you guys want to do on this floor?
No.
We went through the chest on this floor. We went through the stuff on the floor above. The other
disabled the traps. Should we even?
Oh,
no.
I
Should
mean,
we tell them about the traps?
I think they know.
They would know. I mean, if they're hired, yeah.
Us trying to disable them runs the risk of setting them off.
Yeah.
If we fail, so let's just and the DOS house, like the lower levels, like the main floor and everything, is like a real community space, right? Like that's a
yeah. That is a privately owned business on the first floor.
On the way out.
Yeah.
On the way out, I'm just like, okay, you know, I'm not trying to be patronizing. You know about the traps in this room, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why they painted the X's. They didn't want.
Oh, right.
They didn't want people going through the traps.
You know the other trap as well, though, right?
The one on the practice dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Can't have our new allies blowing up or anything.
She looks at Oski. I wouldn't think about it too hard if I were you.
Yeah, Oski's like, there are traps on the red X and don't go through? Okay, you're right.
There was an incident, it got ugly, so OSHA said we had to paint X's above the traps.
OSHA. Galarian OSHA.
Your sister.
Gosha,
Akka
yes.
Dosha.
Gosha.
Yeah.
Gosha said we had to paint X's over the traps.
You know, a friend of mine got a fellowship in construction. He got his Gosha 10 certification. He's making a good business out of it now.
Dear God. On the way down, Oski is gonna put signs like ooze room, do not enter for our newfound friends on the ooze doors.
Yeah, I mean you're able to find maybe some random paints, chalk.
Yeah.
You're able to successfully enough navigate your way down. There are 2 doors to that room, or 3 doors, excuse me, as you kind of remember what the inside looked like. So you're able to mark all 3 doors. If you listen at them, mechanically take 20 from first edition, but that's not actually a thing. You take whatever time you want to try to listen in. You don't hear anything. It sounds like what little metal was left in that room was probably eaten, and they went back into their little buckets.
Okay, good.
So you think as long as you don't alert them or bring anything too valuable, like within sniffing distance of them, yeah, it probably won't matter.
I think we just leave through the front door again and then just walk out, go home.
Yep.
Agreed.
Does anyone have anywhere they'd like to go before we go home? Kashak says, obviously, the most tired you've ever seen him. Like, the most just, genuinely sleep-deprived and exhausted.
I think we just go home.
I'm ready to sleep this one off. But, yeah.
We have a lot to go through. And Kashak is, rifling through the bag of holding that he keeps on his hip. He says, there's a lot of stuff in here to go through, and some of it more important than the rest of it. And he pulls out what you see as a shirt collar, and then he pulls out the top half of a copper hand agent whose dead body we've had in this bag of holding for, I think, 3 days.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's been in my notes, and I've been wondering what you're going to do with it.
We have a dead body in our bag of holding, taking up roughly 12 bulk.
Yeah, that's...
Where did we procure that?
It's Oski's guilt trip.
Yeah, that was...
It's not my idea to take it. I have no idea.
That was the copper hand member that Oski, flipped out on and started eating in front of the one that surrendered. In the main vault on the stairs.
In the vault. Yeah.
So that was still today.
That was still today. Yes.
Oh, that was still today. Okay.
5 sessions ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Kashak is probably prescient or aware in Kashak's mind that there's a half a body in his
for bag. What it's worth, Oski was the one who requested that you all bring it with you. I don't know what Oski wanted to do with it.
I think he wanted to give it a proper burial, is what.
That's the idea. It's like a physical embodiment of shame, essentially, for Oski, and he wants to try and do something to have it be made right.
Sure.
I mean, Kashak will show people that it's in here, and he will kind of be like, "What are we doing with this?" And do you say something to that effect?
Oh yeah. Oski's like, Kashak, I know. I will take care of this when we get back home.
All right. I just didn't want things to get missed. It's been a busy day, and I can see things like this getting overlooked. So I just wanted to be sure. And it's to be truthful, taking up a lot of space, and I'm pretty sure there's blood on a bunch of our stuff now, so we got to deal with that too. But that
wasn't there already.
That's a different thing. We can deal with that later.
So you all make your journey back from the Coins District to East. Are you going to your home, or are you going to Desmond's?
Let's go to our home.
Okay.
We're going to our home.
Going back to the Precipice Quarter.
Yeah.
So, due to the
do we want to just say that we're going to get to full HP before we make the long trek back? I feel like that's something in character we would probably do, right? We would say, let's spend an hour focusing and healing up before we trek across half of Absalom.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Okay. So by the time you leave, maybe during the conversation that you're having with Akka and Krishma and Loppy and Gruther, Oski is hanging out on the side, kind of refocusing and occasionally laying on hands. Bastro gets maybe half of that since Akka is super thrilled to have somebody else who speaks Vudrani and won't stop bothering him about it. But after maybe an hour and a half, you all are fully healed, ready to go. You leave after what feels like days in this place. Especially for like Oski and Kashak, even though you were timeless as statues, you feel the effects that it had on your body still lingering.
Yeah.
The stiffness, the soreness in your muscles, the mechanically not slowed, but just like the slow reflexes, and you feel like every motion just takes extra effort as your body kind of regains its natural functionings.
Like when you take a nap in the middle of the day that you didn't mean to take, and you just have simply no idea what time it is. Like it could be 10 p.m. or 3 p.m. the next 2 days. Like you have no clue what time it is. That's what I picture Kashak feeling like. It's like I have no clue.
And you walk out of the Copperhands hideout in the dark. It is now about 9 p.m. after what has got to have been the most grueling day any of you
world's longest
have
day
ever had.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to the bank bright and early in the morning. You got there at 9 a.m. So it's been 12 hours of constant alert and motion. And fighting every step of the way. Either fighting or running. Those have been basically the two things that you guys have been doing. It takes about an hour and a half for you all to make it back to your apartment. And you get there, and I'm sure all of you are ready to pass out, but is there anything else you would like to do before you take your first long rest of both 6th and 7th level?
Kashak will basically empty out like the contents of the bag of holding that has been decided as like group property or to sell. And he will do the same thing he did last time, where he just sort of lays it out very kind of like museum style and lay it out on the ground and just be like, okay, if you need it, if you want it, claim it. Otherwise, I'm going to go out and sell it tomorrow. Just make sure you understand what's going out. Just like, if you need it, if you want it, fine. I'm going to sell everything else.
You guys have the loot sheet up? Anything popping
Yeah,
up?
Yeah, I'm looking through it right now. Are we keeping the fur masks, or Baster wants to keep the spell books for sure.
Yeah, spell books are going to go to you.
Okay.
The only other question I had was, we have 2 daggers that are just magical. I assumed those to be just +1 daggers from the lower level of the Copperhand hideout, or like the first fight we had in the Copperhand hideout. We never really identified those.
Baster, if you want to take an hour and just identify anything that is currently unidentified, go ahead and roll me, we'll call it 3 checks for that.
Arcana or what?
Whatever your defined, so religion.
Also, there was from the warehouse battle from forever ago, there was 50 gold pieces of jewelry that we found that I had not marked as sold. So I don't remember if we had a chance to sell them. Nothing below, like there's stuff below it that was sold, but I don't remember if we sold that stuff.
Then I feel like that was a clerical error.
Okay.
Because you would have tabulated on that, right? Like by just adding everything up.
I mean, yeah, probably. It's certainly possible.
Yeah, I feel like that's just, you might have just missed it, because if you've sold since then, you probably added that.
Yeah, there's other warehouse stuff that we sold.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I got 28, 25, 21.
Sure. So if there's anything that's unidentified, the masks are super, super specific. They are specifically inscribed on the inside with a rune that is carved with a specific basilisk's blood, which prevents the petrification effect from that basilisk.
Oh, trash it. Get it out of my face.
So now that basilisk is dead.
Not useful.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Sell them, trash them.
The daggers are +1 daggers.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there anything else that you guys magical that you guys have not yet identified? There wasn't too much.
There's 2 potions.
Oh wait, yes.
The potions are moderate healing.
Moderate? Sick.
Not that you rolled a craft arcana for that, or craft alchemy for that, but I'll give it to you.
Thanks, Dad.
Does anyone have craft alchemy?
You mean crafting?
Alchemical crafting? That's a skill feat. I'm an expert in crafting, if that's what you mean.
I'll allow it.
None of us have alchemical crafting, the skill feat.
Oski, go ahead and roll a crafting.
I have magical crafting.
Go ahead and roll a crafting skill check.
Okay.
Magic and alchemy are 2 different things.
They are.
24.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so these 2 moderate healing potions. I already have 1.
I'd love one.
Okay, so one of them is gonna go to Kashak.
I've got 2 lesser.
We're at a point right now where I think we should handle loot at the end of the session. And the reason that I say that is because I'm sure Twinkletoes is dying with curiosity about this journal. Maybe Kashak and Oski and Bastro are looking over the loose sheets of paper and the logbook.
Oski's actually going to go, just to be clear about what we're doing in the evening after the bag gets dumped out. Oski's going to go bury a body and have a little ceremony.
Okay.
That's what Oski's doing. He's burying a body outside.
Sure. You realize that there are years worth of logs here. In the journal, again, it's about the first entry was like 9 years ago. The logbook has daily logs of financial transactions for the past, and notes about them, but financial transactions for the past 4 years. You realize it's going to take you some time to dig through all of this. And in order to do so, you're going to need to research the items that you have in your possession. So the way that this is going to work is that you have 2 sources to research. Each day that you spend researching a specific source, either the journal or the logs, you can roll a skill check. If you pass the skill check, you'll get a research point. And as you accumulate research points, you will unlock new information. Both of these sources contribute towards the same research pool. It just kind of represents the collective knowledge that you're gaining through your progress. But each individual source has different skill checks associated. There are some overlapping, but they might be at different DCs, and each skill used on a specific source covers a couple of different DCs. The more specific a skill is, for example, lore skills will generally have a lower DC if they are applicable, versus general things like you can use perception on both sources, but I'll tell you right now, perception has the highest DC, because that is literally just you looking at the book, as opposed to in-depth interpretation using a relevant lore skill. So, each source also has a maximum amount of knowledge that you can gain from it. There's only so much in each book. And I will tell you if you hit that amount. Because at that point you will know that there is nothing else to be gained from this source. And all of you can do this once per day. If you critically succeed on a skill check, you get 2 research points. So you got that to look forward to.
Nice.
And there are no penalties for failing or critically failing. You just don't get research points. So, as I mentioned, you have the Copperhand logbook and various papers, and then you have the journal, the logbook. You can use underworld lore, Absalom lore, or accounting lore, as well as society, perception, and thievery. You can make a case for other skills, and I will consider your case and then make a decision. The journal, you can use undead lore, religion, Absalom lore, occultism, or perception. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that to you via messenger during our break so that you guys have a chance to figure out what you want to do. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be back at 8:30 Eastern Standard, so about 12 minutes from now. Thank you all so much, and we'll see what they learn coming up here soon.
Thank you.
big question that everyone is asking right now. Who's got the second corpse ward pendant?
So there are two.
There are two. That is confirmed.
Corpse ward. Yeah.
You found
corpse wards. Corpse
wards. Yes. We've been chatting back and forth in our group chat about loot during the break, and
as we do in our free time all the time, actually.
Yeah. And you guys did get there was one corpse ward pendant that was in the upper level of the in Hendred's desk in the upper level, and then Hendred himself was wearing one. So there are two corpse ward. However, the pendant of the occult, which you got out of the chest in the
chest,
in the ooze room, there's only one of those. So who's got what?
Broski has the occult pendant because I think we said we were going to definitely give it to Bastro, but then Bastro was like, I have this other pendant, so we gave it to Oski.
Right.
Okay.
Because I can already cast guidance anyways. Yes. So, yeah, that's what... Okay, so I knew I gave it to someone else.
Cool. Glad we got that sorted. So, let's... Well, actually, Ben, do you want to take a second and tell me what you're doing with the half of a corpse that you have?
Yes. So, while, Kashak has just upturned the huge bag of holding, everyone's going through it. Twinkle Toes begins sifting through the journals, and Oski's like, I'll deal with this, and takes the half a Copperhand corpse, and it's nighttime, right?
Yes.
So he's going to wrap it in a blanket and try to find a field or something that wouldn't be far away, or some sort of place where there is soil and green space and maybe trees.
Okay.
Which I know may be hard to find in the Precipice Quarter, but he's going to go until he finds some because he wants to get this done tonight.
Let me actually just take you to the map.
Oh.
Just because I have a map of Absalom that I can show you.
You have a map of Absalom? What?
Wow.
Wow, so cool, guys. So you guys are chilling in your apartment right now, which is right about meh.
I knew you were gonna say yeah.
Pretty dead center of the Precipice Quarter. That
So
kind of
you could do about a 20 to 30 minute jaunt south. I mean, you'd have to go down to the main road, go out, and then go out through.
Oh, I'd have to leave the city proper.
Yeah, I mean, so all of this right here. Oh no, I've moved the districts. I have that power.
I would encourage you to try to bury a body inside of a major city, and I would encourage you to bury a body inside of New York City.
So
the second I said it out loud, I was like, no, I want to leave.
Everything that you see here that is inside the wall, that is like open space along the bay. This is all active Radiant Festival Fairground. There are people there 24/7, and it is always both literally and figuratively lit.
Yeah, Oski is going. He's going to he doesn't care if he has to be fatigued tomorrow. He's going to go as far as it takes to where he can feel like he has privacy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily going to take you being fatigued. It just means you're going to be waking up a little bit later, and you're going to be getting back at around. Let's see, you left. What did I say? It was 9 o'clock. You got back at 10:30. You're leaving at maybe
late.
11. So you're getting back at 12, 12:30. So it's
that's fine.
It's not too bad, really.
Yeah.
You'll just be the last one up at 9 o'clock after your daily preparations. But you're able to get out here, and there's this little awkward pseudo forest in between the outer wall of Absalom, and the I don't want to say suburbs because that's not quite right. This is still a major, like, population center down in the south here, and these like villages. But you do have some like sparse woodlands here that would be relatively dark that you could do something small, for sure.
Yeah, so I think he's going to walk out there, find this green space, and he doesn't have a shovel, so he's gonna have to dig with his shield, I think, and he's going to bury the remainder of this body, 6 feet deep, and I think he will, in a very sort of crude tombstone, he'll maybe find a collection of stones or something to mark it, and he's going to
cairn,
and he's going to sit down, and he maybe has some, not like field rations per se, but maybe there was something back in the apartment that was left over, maybe even like just fruit or something. He's going to have some sort of offering that he's going to set down on the grave site that he's made, and he's then going to spend maybe 15 minutes praying to Masluda, and he's going to, most of it's going to be silent, but at the end of it, he's going to take out this offering, if you will, place it on it, stand up and take a moment looking at the shield, which is now like dirty and muddy and covered in whatever soil he's on, and he's going to look at it and go, Sverton, I'm trying. I think I found a way. I found a way to move past this, perhaps, but it keeps coming back, Sverton. I'm sorry. I'm trying. And he's gonna look up into the sky, and maybe even like touch one of the temples where he's got these tattoos that are maybe in like the moonlight. They almost seem like they're moving at this point, but they're actually still. I'm going to make you proud, Mother. I'm trying. I'm trying. And he's going to try to hold it together, but he's going to break down a little bit at this. Take a moment, collect himself, sort of look one last time at the offering of food, and there's part of him that has a sudden urge to like take some of it and eat it right before he leaves, but he's able to steel himself, and he begins the trek back.
It is a solemn vigil for potentially the only Maslodite in Absalom, as Oski makes his way past all of the festivities of the Radiant Festival. Festivities of the festival, as they say.
And if things are still happening, I think he is, in this walk back, anytime particularly there is a strong smell, like Oski is almost overwhelmed by it, I think.
It's practically unavoidable. There are food carts, there are stands, there are still like market, hawkers advertising their wares even at this late hour as people revel well into the night, enjoying the most brilliant celebration of life that Absalom and potentially Galarian has to offer at any given time. The smells and the sounds and the sights overwhelm you as this just reverie of and remembrance of the actions that you've committed and the path that you've walked thus far kind of just is thrust into your face, this juxtaposition between the struggling orc and the frivolous and carefree society that he walks through, the society that is very much alien to his own.
Well, and I think, I don't know if this makes sense to anyone else, but has anyone ever felt like after you feel like you've accomplished something, like you have like a personal struggle or something that you feel like you've climbed over a small hump, like you've succeeded in some small way, and then once you do that, you're almost like particularly vulnerable or susceptible to like letting your guard down for a second because you feel this like sense of relief that you've accomplished something. I think maybe Oski's feeling a little of that when he's walking through this reverie. And Will, if you're cool with this, I'd like to actually have Oski roll a will save with a DC that you set to see if he's able to continue this, not like
indulge himself.
Succumb to this hunger that he has, this like overwhelming need to just like indulge all the time. Do you want? Like, am I rolling this secret?
Yeah.
What do you want
Go
this
ahead
to
and roll
be?
a will save.
Okay. Or would fortitude make more sense? Whichever.
This is going to be will. This is
will,
purely
okay.
your mental ability to control the urges.
So I rolled a natural 17, so it's a 30.
Wow.
That is a success.
And I think I liked the way you painted that, Will, of like the juxtaposition to what Oski is used to. He's also from Garund. He's from just east of the southern Mwangi Expanse. So he's not necessarily accustomed to this much decadence in just frivolity. So it still takes him a second, even though after being here for so long, to get used to it. But he is able to not stifle, that's the wrong word, but he's able to just look past what's happening and want to get back to his friends.
So the solemn vigil of the champion continues despite the temptation that surrounds him. Go ahead and take a hero point, first off.
Nice.
Nice!
And I'd like you to roll a d12 for me.
D12, okay.
I was gonna petition for a hero point if Will didn't say it, just by the way.
Good on you.
Well, if you had petitioned for it, it wasn't going to happen. So,
Thus is the GM way. All right, a D12. That's a 2.
that's a 2. Okay. So, until you fail the next either self-imposed or DM-imposed will check for your hunger, you feel the warmth of Masluta's table. You feel the community of friends not seen in a long time. You feel the strength of those you grew up with, those you worshipped with, and those you taught in your time. Almost their hands on your back, pushing you forward. You have 2 temporary HP that regenerate every day until that next will save.
Wow, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Sweet.
And you feel this as you're shielding your mind, your will power kind of hardens. This almost shell, much like the armor and the shield you wear, just kind of forms, and you block your senses, and all you feel is that tug back home and that gentle push from those you've left behind as you eventually make your way back to the apartment. Does everybody go to sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been asleep until Oski gets back. Yeah.
Yeah, Oski, you open the door to a quiet, dark apartment. Collapsing in a heap after taking your armor off, I assume.
Oh, yes.
And you all wake up the next day, fully and finally level 6 and then 7.
Oh my god, Sheethra!
In the corner of the living room, you notice a 4-foot long translucent lizard before you realize that it is the shedded skin of a now much larger Sheethra.
This is so cool.
Who is now actually mechanically large.
You see Kashak get out of his, what is essentially his bathtub, which is his bed. And he, he takes out some jerky from his pocket and he hands it to the lizard skin. It just looks sort of absent-mindedly, where Sheethra normally would bite it and take it, and he sort of hands it out to the mouth, drops it, and then walks on. And then for a moment, he's like, wait a minute, that wasn't right. Turns around, jerky's on the floor, the skin is there, turns to his right, and Sheethra's 8 feet long.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that I was talking with Jack about. It's at 6th level, Sheethra becomes mechanically large. But it doesn't make sense. I just can't wrap my brain around a lizard.
It didn't.
Just, now you're twice as big.
I mean, that's literally Pokemon. That's how Pokemon would work. Yeah. And this is not what that is.
So I impose...
There are other gaming systems for that.
Yes.
Exactly.
This is not
exactly.
So I gave him most of the mechanical benefits of that level, but I could not give the size in good conscience without at least a little bit of time passing.
But here she is.
But hey, I got to mount her in that time because of that. So
the big sassy bitch has arrived. We're here.
So you all...
Is that the collar says?
That's what it says. Big sassy bitch. It's like the tiles that they had on the old bracelets. It's just those weird
oh my god!
It's
a friendship bracelet with the little beads.
It's a friendship bracelet. Just,
Oh my god.
We had that dirty bastard, and now we have
big sassy bitch.
But none of you have a Rusty the Rust Monster shoulder tattoo, and
that's true.
That's true.
You cannot.
None of us will be that
beat
cool.
that.
I haven't mustered up enough gold to purchase it yet.
I'll even make it magical if you get enough gold together. Now there's a Rusty the Rust Monster tattoo that you can use once per day to summon Rusty the Rust Monster.
Will's having too much fun with homebrew items. God.
I had this whole chat with Jack earlier about items that are actually good for rangers, and I tried my best not to fixate on an idea that I'm probably going to end up doing anyway, but that's neither here nor there. For the first time in a long time.
It was a juicy idea. It was a juicy idea, I gotta say.
Such a good idea, but I don't want to spoil it. For the first time in a long time, you all wake up with really nothing to do besides what you want to do. As I mentioned...
Oski gets up early and makes a whole spread for breakfast.
There is an apparent wealth of information that you have in your possession, but you know it's going to require some time and effort to unlock. So this is the point where I tell you that we are officially going into downtime. If you want to take on the research activity, that is a day's worth of downtime activity per person. Each person can roll. You can all roll in the same article. You can split it up. You can all roll the same skill checks if you want to. You can split it up however you want to. But you can also take other downtime activities. Again, this is the first point in the campaign where there has not been a direct, and this is what I was mentioning at the beginning. It's up to you guys now. I'm hands off now. You have all the things. Go.
Okay. I'm going to start off by saying that I'm going to have gotten up at my early morning sunrise yoga time, but instead of sunrise yoga, I am going through Fayati's journal. And I'm going to start with an Absalom lore, if I may.
Sure. Let me just get what everybody wants to do first, and then we'll roll.
Cool.
Because maybe not everybody is researching. In which case, I'm gonna resolve research at the end of the day.
Yeah. As I lit up in our little chat here, Kashak can't read, so will be pretty useless during the research phase. He's, I think, going to kind of bag up all the items that was in the bag of holding, put them back in, and then anything else anybody wants to sell on their person, as well as like a shopping list. If you guys want him to purchase anything today while he's out, happy to do so.
So Kashak, to that end, I will say you can assist in the research. You just can't be the only person working on a specific document. So you can, as if somebody is narrating to you, you can still put the information together using the skills and knowledge you have, but you cannot be the only person on a specific document because you
can't read it.
Yeah, because you can't read it.
That sounds like a great idea for like day 2, but I think for this first day,
I'm not trying to dissuade you. I'm just trying to make sure that you are in fact able to help with the research.
And certainly if someone takes a crack at a book and is like, I can't figure this out, he's very good at perception. He's very good at a few skills like, nature, if that was a relevant skill to uncover. We once people kind of understand what they're looking at, it'd be better for him to jump in at that point. So this first day, he's going to handle kind of the more day-to-day administrative stuff, and then we'll come back to the research in a second. So,
and for what it's worth, selling items is actually a day's worth of downtime activity. So
doing it. Tabs done. That's me.
Twinkle Toes is on journal duty with an Absalom lore. Kashak is selling things. Oski.
Oski wants to first, I think, repair his shield, although maybe he could have done that last night. It's only 10 minutes, and we can do this after.
Yeah, it's not a downtime activity, so just consider it done.
Okay.
That is much shorter than the scope of time we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. Similar to Kashak, but for different reasons. I don't think I'm going to be that useful at research. My 2 best skills are intimidation and athletics.
What's your religion?
So, 11, which is not bad.
Do that though.
Would curse lore be relevant at all?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this because again, you messaged me over the break about it.
Because if I could go for that lower DC lore check, that would be baller.
But it's probably not too far from your. Yeah.
It's maybe not relevant.
It will work for the journal. However, it is a tangential lore. So I'll let you know right now, it is a tangential lore. It is
not the lower DC.
It is not the applicable lore DC.
Then, I think he would try maybe religion the first day. He very much sort of wants to follow Twinkle Toes' lead. He feels he wants to help find her parents, and he feels like this is a good way to do it. So I think the religion check was for which one?
That was for Fayati's personal journal.
And Twinkle Toes, which one are you looking at the journal?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think Oski will. Will I just be aiding, or is it still a separate check?
Still a
separate check. Yeah.
Separate check.
Yeah. 2 people can inspect fully the same article.
All 4 of you can do the same article.
Yeah, he's diving in on the journal.
If you continuously hit your checks, there's just a maximum number of research points you can gain from the journal.
So it's probably good for us all to do the same document one at a time, just for anyway.
Yeah. However you guys want to do it. I mean, realistically, if you earn a research point, in one, it's equal to earning a research point in the other.
Yeah.
There's still a total.
Exactly.
It's just which skill checks do you think you are most equipped to handle. So, doing a religion on the journal. And finally, Bastro.
Bastro will be doing society on the logbook.
I like your style, society.
There we
boy.
go. Got that master in society. Might as well use it.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is selling. Kashak. You wouldn't happen to have any skills that you might like to roll that might aid in your getting of good prices for your goods?
I know you're fishing. He really doesn't. He has
I'd still like you to roll one.
He's trained in intimidation.
You can certainly try that.
He is untrained in diplomacy.
I would like you to roll a skill check.
Oski should have done this. Oh dear.
Or Bastro.
Or Twinkle Toes.
Really, anyone else.
I would like you to roll a skill check, Kashak. You tell me what it is, and then tell me what you roll.
This is interesting. He will...
Warfare lore.
Don't tempt me. I will do it. He will roll an intimidation, not in the same vein as the Dread Marshal stance, where he's trying to seem like a scary adventurer who's doing important things. He's not trying to bully people into paying him more for his items. That's not his style. He's just trying to like raise himself to a full height and like be a scary guy and the scary lizard.
Go for it. Roll.
Okay. 16.
So you're going to have to do a little bit more math, but that is a pass. You will actually get 60% value instead of the 50.
Oh.
Cool. I will do that in a second here.
However, towards the end of the day, you do
get arrested. No.
You do notice that merchants that you pass, almost as if word has passed of you, faster than you can actually move, merchants seem to suddenly start closing up shop as you begin approaching. Just keep that in mind.
Racist.
That's what it is. It's not somebody walking around being scary and demanding money.
I think
Kashak you do get 60% for everything you want to sell today.
And we'll take it. That's more than I thought it was. I'll do that math in a second. I already had the 50%, but I'll do some math. He would like to go to. Please excuse me. I'm pulling up the name of the shop that my homie Eric Kanesh runs. The Storia Reliquary.
God, you're gonna make me switch reference books.
He'd like to go there probably last. And look around. He's got I think he had the 5 plants in a different bag than like a bag of holding, like his own personal pack. Mm-hmm. And so he's checking on that every once in a while. He's just like, when he's walking around, he's making sure nobody bumps into him, nobody blocks him, nobody does anything weird. And when he finally gets to the Storia Reliquary, he's going to kind of take them out and hold them all in his arms. And he's like walking around the reliquary looking for Eric Kanesh pretty specifically. And if anybody asks him like, "Oh, can I help you today, sir?" He's like, yeah, I'm looking for Eric Kanesh.
Oh no, it's just Eric Kanesh. It's just Eric Kanesh. It is a large, kind of that like dragonfly iridescent blue-green tent. It's like a circus tent where it's got like that one big top pole in the middle, and then it's got those like runners down the kind of like tapers down and makes a circle with the posts around the outside, and it's this like iridescent dragonfly blue-green, and the cloth itself is like literally shimmering and sparkling in the light as you move towards it. But you enter the shop, you pull back, and you see a similarly colored Iruxi who looks up, monocle over eye. They pull it off and put it in their vest pocket this nice pressed velvet, like this deep red pressed velvet vest. As they look up to you, it's good to see you again. Kashak, it was.
You have a good memory. Hello again, Erikanesh.
Please. Erica is fine.
Erica.
It is not often that I see a fellow Uruxi, and it is good to meet your acquaintance once more. What can I help you with today?
I came across these plants, and I was curious as to their ancestry. I know one of them is from the Garundi area, but I couldn't identify exactly what it was. The other four, well, I know you were looking for things of, or people of Parisian descent. I wasn't sure if any of this would match the criteria.
Well, let me take a look at what you have here. And he pulls the Garundi plant. Ah, yes, Fire Fumort from our homeland. You have a good eye. They look around, and there's like really no plants whatsoever in the space. But they say, I will take it off your hands, but let's not talk price just yet. Let's see what else you have. Go ahead and roll me a D100.
A D100?
And we're gonna see if you actually manage to grab a Varisian plant.
Just one D100?
A D100.
17.
There's a 25% chance, and you got it.
Wow.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
They pull out this like horticultural book. They like dig through one of their trunks that's just sitting on the ground at the backside of the tent. It takes them a minute, you know, as it's obviously unused. It's at the very bottom, so they have to like take stuff out, place it to the side, pull the book out, and then put everything back in, close the trunk, and they come back. Eric flips through the book, looking for a specific page, and they come across it. Oh, yes. Oh, this is a volcano wineberry. Oh, so where did you come across this?
An acquaintance was keeping sort of a garden of sorts. They were going to abandon it, but we were able to take it off their hands.
That's motive.
I can't believe they managed to get a plant from the southern face of Ash Peak this far out. I'm impressed.
Wow.
I can't imagine the journey to the Five Kings Mountains from here, but well, they were willing to part with it, and hopefully you are too. Yes?
Certainly. I assume it will have much more value to you as it will to me. Unless, of course, it gives me some sort of abilities in combat that you're being coy about.
Magical, no. Merely just a rare horticultural specimen. It quite literally only grows on the southern face of Ash Peak.
Then certainly I think that you will find much more appreciation and value for it than I will.
That's motive.
That's not a skill in this game.
No, Kashak trusts Erikanesh implicitly. It's
Cool.
It's an Uruxi connection, you know. It's something that
I could give you gold for it, or perhaps we could work on trade.
What would you be willing to trade for this sort of item?
Erica pulls another smaller logbook, like an inventory notebook, out of their pocket. Pants pocket this time, not crushed velvet vest pocket. Let me see. And they cross-reference the horticultural book, the other 3 plants, the Garundi plant that you picked up. For the plants... Let me see. What do I have here? Well, I believe you're already familiar with the rhino shot. Has that served you well in your travels? I mean, it's only been, a week since I saw you last?
I was able to use one of them, and yes, it was very effective. I was not able to knock the creature onto the ground, but seems to be a target selection problem, much more than an inventory problem.
Well, if you survived an encounter with something that my rhino shot didn't put down, then I'm even more impressed. For the plants alone, I could probably do 4 more arrows if you wanted the rhino shot. However, and they dig into another trunk. They pull out a single arrow. You see this milky white wood of a shaft that almost seems translucent as they twist it between their fingers. It doesn't even really have an arrowhead on it. It's as if the tip of this arrow was just like whittled out of the stick itself. But the fletching is also just this pure white. And you see, as they hold it, as they shift it in between their fingers, you look at it, and it almost appears as if it begins shifting from between his fingers to like 3 inches above their hands, to like back between their fingers, to directly in their palms. This is a transportation arrow.
Cool.
Instead of shooting at a foe, if you use this arrow, you make a strike at any space that you can see within the range of your weapon. As long as it's within the accurate range of your weapon, you can pull yourself through the astral plane, along with anything that you're holding, and land in that space where the arrow lands. However, I would also need an additional 200 gold.
What? And Kashak, is just starts coughing. I'm sorry, did you say a 200 gold for that? I'm afraid that's a bit of a steep price. I don't think I have anything worth 200.
That's a shame. This is quite the uncommon bit of ammunition. But
it's certainly something I'm interested in and would certainly like to procure if I could, but it seems a bit out of my price range.
Fair enough.
We can certainly strike a deal on the Rhino and Viper shot.
Let me look up Viper shot again, because it's not actually...
And we can do that, later.
Yeah.
We can figure out the number.
How about this? I will take the plants on trade value, and you come back later with what you want when you need it.
What a perfect settlement for both our mutual benefit and also expediency of time.
I look forward to you coming back soon.
It is a pleasure as always, Eric and Nesh. Thank you.
They give you a slight nod and a bow, and they pull the monocle back out of their vest pocket along with a little cleaning rag as they clean it and place it back onto the sturdy Uruxi bridge of the nose, and the brow just squints back down over it as you're making your way out. Cool. Now that we've done 20 minutes of Uruxi talk,
and all that Kashak got was stored credit, which, as we all know, is a ripoff.
But I got him.
Not when you love the store.
Well, that's fair.
Okay. So, Twinkletoes, go ahead and roll me a... as you're studying the journal alongside Oski, go ahead and give me a lore Absalom. Oski, give me that religion, and Bastro, give me that society, as I pull up the DCs that I've got here.
I'm going to spend one of my 2 hero points.
Seems reasonable.
I rolled really well. Oh my god. Wow.
Twinkletoes, what'd you get?
18.
On Absalom lore?
Yeah.
That is a success.
Hey, all right.
Let me just mark that down. Oski, you are rolling a religion.
Religion.
Go ahead.
23 religion.
That is also a success.
Yo, we're making progress.
Bastro.
33 on society.
On society.
Natural 16 plus 17.
That is a critical success.
Gee, that's insane.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
So, the first thing I'll let you know is that you haven't crossed any of the information thresholds yet, but you still do gain passive information. This journal belonged to a woman by the name of Felice Alamar, the woman who you believe to be Feati, or at least called Feati. She started the journal when, at the behest of a I'm forgetting what it's called, but basically at the behest of a legal guardian after her father was imprisoned, as a means of working through the events that had transpired with losing her father. That's kind of where you're at right now. Again, this is literally like a day-to-day life journal of this person for the past 8 years.
Yeah.
And in-depth daily transactional log of finances and other operational means in the logbooks for the past 4 years. So this is it's dense information. So like as you're doing these checks, even getting like critical successes, you're maybe doing like 2 months worth of time. So there might not be anything interesting that happened in that 2 months.
Slow going.
You know? So just keep that in mind. I don't want this to feel like you guys are succeeding check after check. That's just not really how the research system works. The research system rewards consistent success over a period of time.
Yeah.
Day 2. Day 2. We'll go in the same order. Twinkletoes, what would you like to do today?
You might have said this earlier. Can we roll the same checks on the same thing?
Absolutely. The only time you cannot roll the same thing is when you exhaust all the information in that category.
Okay.
So you're gonna go with the same?
I kind of want to do thievery on the logbook.
Okay.
But I feel like I'll do that later on, because Twinkle Toes right now I think is a little obsessed with this journal and trying to get as much out of it as she can. So yeah, I'll do the same for this one.
Okay. Kashak?
Kashak would like to help with anybody who's having a hard time understanding exactly what they're looking for. If he feels like his skills can be of use, maybe a perception check on the notes in the margins of books, or any generic ranger skills that he can apply.
If it makes any difference, the combo of Twinkle Toes and Oski got the same amount of information as just Baster by himself. So do you want to join?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he's really only going to be doing anything if he's called upon. He's not going to try to step on any toes and assume anybody's having trouble. But maybe Baster would say something to him.
Baster's doing pretty well by himself.
Baster's like, get out of here.
You just slow me down.
So a perception on the book, the journal, or the logs?
Which was
Baster was on the logs.
Yeah, I think Kashak is generally more concerned about the journal, and he'll go help out Twinkle Toes.
Okay.
And then I think Oski as well was on that.
Same deal?
Yeah, Oski's going to stick with it. He's very intrigued by what's going on here.
Okay. Baster?
So is shopping an all-day event, or is that something I can do after I spend a day's activity doing something?
It is an all-day event, but you can decide which day you want to go shopping.
Okay. I think I'll spend one more day trying to decipher these books, and then tomorrow I'll go shopping. Because I do need to replenish some things.
Okay.
I'm also not sure how we want to handle this, but Kashak had said, give me a shopping list. I will use the gold that I got from selling our stuff to buy you stuff.
Yeah, Baster heard that. He just wants to. He mostly wants to go visit Johnny Greenfoot, JGF, because he's trying to workshop this personal relationship so he can get cheaper stuff.
It's like when someone's like, "I'm going to the store," and you're like, "What store are you going to?" If you're just going to Safeway,
I'm going out.
I'm going out.
I gotta go to Whole Foods. You can't shop for me at Whole Foods. I got specific stuff I buy. It would just take too much time to tell you what I'm gonna buy. I'm just gonna go myself. You don't got anything. Yeah.
If they don't have the flavor I like of this one thing, I don't want to tell you my preference list of what my backups
are. Just not we're gonna take more time doing this, and it would take me to get to my car and drive there. You know what I mean? It would just be a whole thing. So
mental energy levels.
And Kashak's like, I can do it. I'm not an idiot. I can make sure I know what your favorite flavor is. And Baster's like, no, it's not about you. It's like a me thing. I know what I like.
Do you even really know the difference between a lesser, minor, and a moderate healing potion is?
When you squeeze a moderate healing potion to see if it's ripe, what do you feel for? What are you looking for when you do that? That's not really what I look for. Yeah. So I imagine this going on for 20 minutes.
Baster's going to be going to buy magical scrolls, and since Kashak can't read...
Oh, okay, so it's a good we're going to take it right there, aren't we? We're going to put right where I can't read.
Baster just didn't want to give you a hard time.
Baster tried for 30 minutes.
What they can do. Everyone's good at what they can do. Sometimes people have deficiencies in their character sheets, and sometimes people are good at things.
Baster tried for 30 minutes not to hurt your feelings, but you would not give it up.
I would not. Seriously, I can do this. And he's like, all right, you know what? Fine. Here's what it is.
You're illiterate. Move on.
Kashak and Baster are beefing officially. It's on my character sheet.
Twinkle Toes.
I have the beefing condition with Baster.
I need you to roll a lore Absalom.
Move from Oski to Bastro.
I'm switching up dice.
Beef condition.
Beef condition.
Ooh, 26.
26. That is a success.
That beef medium well.
Kashak. I need you to roll a perception for me.
27 perception.
That's on the journal, correct?
Yes.
That is a success.
I don't want to hang out with Bastro no more. I'm hanging out with Oski and Twinkle Toes.
That is a success. Okay. Oski, religion.
Shaq got that full aim and yellowed up. I can't move on. I'm sorry. I'm stuck.
Cannot believe you.
I'm stuck.
Cannot believe you at all.
A whole new definition to flanking. Am I right? Flank beef.
Am I right?
Like steak.
Jesus Christ.
If you don't ground this beef right now, we're gonna have issues.
Sorry, we keep skirting around the topic. I know it's
Oh my God.
Sirloin, I need to go, please.
Well, this conversation is really T-boned into an intersection.
Oh
Can
my
you just
God.
roll me your
What
religion?
am I doing?
Don't get
What am I
scared
doing?
with me.
God, I wish I were clever.
I can't use skirt. Somebody already said skirt.
Got it. I wish I were anywhere else.
Natty 19 for a 30.
There it is.
Hey.
Hey, what did you roll? Religion?
Religion again.
On the journal?
Whatever I did last time. I'm doing the same check.
I'm just double checking. Where is it? The journal. Yeah, it's a critical. Yep.
Yep.
That's a critical.
Just with all this beef talk, Oski is like fueled.
Oski's empowered by the beef.
And
Oski, he has
last
the
but
beef.
not least, Bastro. Give me a society.
Oh, not so good. It's a 20.
Remember, you got hero points. You got hero points.
You know what?
and
Yeah.
it's funny.
I am going to use my hero point. Yeah, that was a natural 3. I can definitely be better than that. Oh! Natural 20. So,
Yes!
37.
That hero point economy.
I mean, that's our highest check result yet, right? It has to be.
I
Another
guess.
crit
Yeah.
for sure.
Super crit. Super crit.
Yeah, I think it's 3 points.
Yeah.
It's just 2. It's just 2. You
nuts.
all blew through that day, just cranking out research points, and you actually hit 2 tiers, the first and second tier, because you got a lot of points today. So the first thing that you find out about halfway through the day, like maybe
read a 9.
you all are like reconvening for lunch, as you kind of discuss, and it starts clicking. You realize that the Copper Hand is using some kind of underground cult to basically wash the money and the items that they've stolen from people. And you hear references to their meetups in a catacombs to make handoffs. So basically, they would give items, like valuables, jewels, items, things like magical things, to this cult, and the cult would pay them cash for it. So they're basically a fence that the Copper Hand was using. And as you all disperse, going back to your various researches for the second half of the day, you all kind of simultaneously realize, both those who are working on the journal and the logbook, you find references to somebody named...
Oh, never mind a name.
No, go ahead. This was obviously important.
I want to put. I'm going to put a hero point bet out there that somewhere in the near future we're going to hear a reference to the Twilight Four coming back. We heard that name from. It was the concierge's journal. I don't remember her name off the top of my head.
We heard about the Twilight Four from Hendred's dying words.
That too. That's too much of a thing not to be something. I'm putting a hero point bet on the table if Will's taking it.
That's a hero point bet.
Four are involved.
Oh, I'm not going to
it out
take
there.
it because I have unfair information. But if any of the other players would like to forfeit their hero points for a bet.
Absolutely not.
Wait, it'd be my hero point going in the pot that Ben would earn? No.
Well, I think.
Why would you bet against the GM when the GM has all of the information? Like,
because
the GM
if I'm right, I would get.
The GM would never take that bet.
You're right. Okay, whatever. I want to have fun. I'm sorry, Will.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm doing my best here, man. I really am trying.
We're just chasing the high from the beef bit.
I make an entire research. I make an entire research system for you, just for you to say that you want to have fun.
Will, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job, Will.
Agreed.
Do you want to know the name? Do you want to know the name?
At this point,
I got a name right here.
Bovine.
At this point, is it worth it?
I'll just day 3.
No.
Patiently waiting. Can I at least have the name?
You all find references to somebody named the Skinner.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's much worse.
Linner Skinner?
The Skinner.
Oh.
And it's not the one that was Hendred Pratchett, who...
Is this what I think it is?
I'm pretty sure, Jack, you know what I'm pretty sure Jack knows what this is.
I know. Okay, then I know what this is. Okay, this is awesome.
Because...
I can't tell you. I'm sorry. I cannot tell you. I'm so sorry.
Why would you do this,
I'm
Jack?
so sorry.
It's okay because I can. Fayati, also officially known as Felice, according to the journal, makes references to their dedication to the skin saw.
Oh my god. Awesome. Awesome.
She hates the idea of working with them.
What?
I'm telling you what you're getting from this. You can make further checks if you'd like. She hates the idea of working with them, but she can't deny their effectiveness towards her goals, even if they cost an arm and a leg to hire.
A literal one?
Yeah, yikes.
At least the skin of it.
You find references to a person named the Skinner as the like leader of this cult.
I'll make recall knowledge checks, or is there still more that we find out?
That's all you've got right now. If you want to make research, or if not research, explicitly not research, if you want to make lore checks or recall knowledge checks related to anything that I say, let me know at the end of the day. But from today, they are using an underground cult to wash the stolen items. Second tier of research points that you hit. The cult, aforementioned, is led by somebody named the Skinner, who apparently makes references to the skin saw. She hates the idea of working with them, but can't deny their effectiveness, even if they cost an arm and a leg to hire. Now
I would like to make...
Now I'll open up to skill checks.
Yeah.
Skill checks for the skin saw. I'm more intrigued about that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an occult.
Occult.
Or religion.
You're not gonna believe me, but I got another natural 20.
Let's go.
I'm not.
Astro coming in clutch.
Oh, and it makes so much sense.
It does, Jack. It really
makes
does.
so much sense.
It really does.
That's a 33.
You think back. You're racking your brain. You're like, the skin saw. And at some points during your training as a medical professional, you would have come across documents that relate to survivors of various skin saw cults. Because skin saw isn't just the name of a cult, it is the name of an offshoot, a religious sect that worships the skin saw aspect of Norgorber. And you keep racking your mind. You keep thinking, and this is what that critical gets you. You keep thinking, and suddenly it clicks. Because back when you were in the Dreaming Palace, back when you were in the murder den of Hendred Pratchett, you found that spiked pit that had the image of the mask painted above it. And you realized that was the symbol of the skin saw.
So Hendred was definitely a member of the Skin Saws.
Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption with that knowledge.
I'm shaking right now. This is awesome. This is so cool.
I told you. Anything else before we move to day 3?
I want to make sure that I remember this correctly. When I was in my courier days, one of the things that tipped me off that there was something shady about Fayati Alamar was finding a finger.
Not finding, but seeing who you know to be Fayati Alamor.
Yeah.
Placing a finger in a box for you to curate.
Right. Yes.
Right.
And I suppose we should go over what we all know to be common knowledge about Norgorber that might not be necessarily available.
Anybody who would like to roll a religion check on Norgorber specifically? Sure.
I would like to do that.
I'll do that.
Yeah, Oski will do that too.
Oh, okay, there we go. Back to the 3s.
Spending that second hero point because I was an natty 1.
What?
Good hero point economy.
What are we rolling?
This would be a religion specifically.
All right, 24.
How would you feel about Absalom lore?
No.
Okay. 26 religion.
Specifically aspects of a deity that you were interested in.
Well,
a 14 gets it right.
Oski, what did you get?
26.
26. The Reaper of Reputation, the Grey Master, Black Fingers, King of Thieves, Father Skinsaw, Norgorber.
Father Skinsaw, okay.
The God of Greed, of Secrets, of Poisons, but most apt to this situation, the God of Murder. Known by many aforementioned names and many aspects of his cult-like worship. The worship of Norgorber himself, and I guess, Kashak, this is where your lore Absalom would come in.
I don't have lore Absalom. That was Jack advocating for it.
Actually explicitly forbidden in Absalom as Norgorber is an explicitly evil god. You would know his domains to encompass death, evil, trickery, knowledge, deception, espionage, thievery, and murder. You know that his symbol is a one-eyed mask, though the symbol that you saw was a mask in 2 halves with one eye. So similar, but with a distinct difference. With the information that Bastro is giving you, as you go through and are making these checks and recalling and perhaps even picking up on the information that any one of you might have in a variety of books that might just be in your inventory, in your possession. You're combining all of this information to realize that any Skinsaw cult worships Norgorber through the explicit and brutal murder of innocents.
We are certainly dealing with a different class of criminal.
A literal murder cult.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great.
And that's what you get for day 2.
Oh boy.
So, day 3, Twinkle Toes.
Wild.
We're not tapped out on the journal.
That was my question. Yeah.
No, you were not.
Okay. I'll keep going.
I'll let you know when you're tapped.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I'm gonna do Absalom lore again on the journal.
Kashak?
Perception on the journal as well.
Oski?
Religion on the journal.
Bastro?
Shopping.
You want to see
Shopping
JGF?
Day. Yes, JGF.
80s style shopping montage. Actually,
Peter going on an adventure.
May I, if he's going shopping, may I change my perception to the documents that he was looking over, just so that we are looking at 2 different things at once?
You are not allowed to work on a document by yourself.
You can't do anything unsupervised. I'm a child. Yes, okay.
I will switch to thievery on the logbook, letting Oski and Kashak work on the journal.
Cool. That works.
Since we're getting towards the end, I'm actually going to do the checks first, and then we'll do a quick shopping sesh. Twinkle Toes, your thievery on the logbook.
Nice. 28.
28. That is a success. Kashak.
28 perception on the journal.
28 perception on the journal is a success.
Let's go.
Oski.
Got a 27 on the journal.
27 on the journal.
Religion.
Religion. Yeah, religion.
That is a critical success.
Oh, what now? Yeah, that's spicy.
How often do you critically succeed twice on a skill you have a plus 11 on at 7th level?
Well,
not even like your top skill.
When it's a DC 17.
Yeah,
and you roll
awesome.
17 and an 18.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or you get a 16 and
16 and a 17. Yeah.
What was the DC for the thievery on the logbook?
Don't worry about it. Higher.
I want to crit.
You were very close on your lore Absaloms, I'll tell you that.
Dang.
No new information as far as the research goes, as far as the cult goes, as far as the operations of the Thieves Guild. But you do find that after about a year, Felice legally inherits her imprisoned father's estate. Mother out of the picture. She doesn't really talk about her mother. But Felice inherits a lord's estate at a very young age. And she quickly turns to disreputable sources. And you see her mentioning spending a lot of money, obscene amounts of money, trying to find somebody. Bastro. You headed to JGF. What are you looking for?
Healing scrolls. I used up all of my healing scrolls.
Okay.
So let's see. Walks into the shop looking for scrolls. He'll probably pick up 1 second level heal and 1 first level heal. Actually, he'll do 2 second level heals and 1 first level heal.
Bastro, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Oh. Let's make sure people are in the shop. Wow, that's awful. 17.
So you're not to the shop yet.
Oh, okay.
This is on your way to JGF's.
Uh-oh.
So 17, yeah.
You're walking down a familiar road towards the shop you've been many a time. But something different happens today. Something you weren't expecting. Shocking at first, though instantly familiar. All around you erupts a cloud that bursts and sparkles with multicolored lights. Go ahead and roll me a will save.
Oh my god. So that's a natural 2. That's a 15.
You are stunned 1. As this 10-foot cloud erupts from the space that you're in. I would have you roll initiative, but you're stunned. You feel something scrape against you. Does a 32 hit?
Yes, that hits.
Okay.
Oh my god. Is that a crit? Hold on. It's not a crit. Okay, continue.
You take 18 points of slashing damage, and I need you to roll a fortitude save.
What's happening?
What?
I just wanted to go shopping. Oh my god! It's another natural 2. You said fortitude? 15.
Okay. You become unstunned. What would you like to do?
The bastard's gonna try to get out of this cloud that he's in. He's gonna run towards the nearest opening that he thinks is there. He can't see anything, I don't think. Is he dazzled or blinded at all?
Once you leave the cloud, you're no longer dazzled. You would be dazzled in the cloud, but since you are using your movement to get out of it, you are no longer. You look left and right as you exit this cloud, and there's just a crowd of people who are now watching you run out of this rave cloud as it's pulsing and strobing and just covering the space in the middle of a street on Absalom in the Eastgate district. What do you do?
Roll perception, trying to find out who is anyone attacking me? What's going on?
Sure, go ahead and roll search.
Okay. 22.
22. You feel a slight, almost breath on the back of your neck,
Gross.
You turn around, you realize that there is nobody there. And as you're pondering this moment, your eyelids just get so heavy. And you blink a few times, trying to stave off this sudden wave of exhaustion that is washing over you. As you feel your legs crumple out from under you, the last thing that you see is 2 leather boots walk up to your face. You feel yourself lifted up to see the face of Feati Alamur as she slings you over her shoulder and then disappears. And that's where we're going to end our session tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god, what?
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you next week. Have a good one, ladies and gents.